March 2015, soon-to-be campaign chair John Podesta and Clinton confidant Neera Tanden appeared to vent about why Hillary Clinton's aides did not release information about her email setup sooner. In reference to former Clinton Chief of Staff Cheryl Mills, Tanden wrote this: "This is a Cheryl special. Know you love her, but this stuff is like her Achilles heel or kryptonite. She just can't say no to this bleep. Why didn't they get this stuff out like 18 months ago? So crazy." End quote. To which Podesta wrote, "Unbelievable." Then Tanden answered her own question saying, quote, "I guess I know the answer. They wanted to get away with it." The emails also appear to show that in August of last year, months after the email scandal blew up, Clinton's aides were still struggling with how to convince her to apologize for it all. All right, Julie, I have to come to you first on this. Our Democrat on the couch, and you have not liked this since the beginning because you said this was messy.
Well,
hot mess is what they're saying now.
Yeah, it is a hot mess, and I'm glad that they were saying in private what I was saying in public since this was all revealed, which is it is a hot mess. She should never have done it. When it was revealed that she had done it, she should have come out and apologized and said she made a mistake. And they're right, and I said this all along, that she has an allergy to saying she's sorry. But I think that was their words, not mine, but I may be paraphrasing here. She should have done that. They should have, apparently they did ask her to do that, and she ultimately did it, but I can get their frustration because it's the same frustration I and other Democrats feel about this, which is you made, I guess, a mistake, although it really wasn't a mistake, it was a calculated decision to do this, but once you did it, you should have owned it and apologized for it, and moved on, hopefully.
Guy, one of the other things we're learning from these emails is the fact that President Obama knew about this, and that there was some chatter in the background among these same people about, well, how do you clean that up? We'll talk about that in a little bit, but just overall, what do you think about the situation?
Well, I think Julie's right on the money here, and the thing that's frustrating, though, is the calculation by Cheryl Mills and Hillary Clinton clearly was, let's set up the scheme for our own purposes. If it's ever discovered, hopefully it never will be, but if it is, let's lie about it constantly. Mm-hmm. If those lies are exposed, quasi-fake apologize, but not really, and then try to outlast this thing. And Neera Tanden hits the nail on the head. They thought they would get away with it, and it looks like they were right. Mm-hmm. They've paid a little bit of a political price. They are protected by the Obama administration, and because Donald Trump's the nominee, Hillary Clinton at the moment looks like she's poised to win. That's the demoralizing reality. She probably is going to get away with this.
All right, so the slide just got a little bit steeper with the talk about all of this, because if it were just laying on the ground horizontal, that was one day. Today it's at a pitch, and that is because Donald Trump is now picking up on this on the stump. Others are talking about this. I mean, this is low-hanging fruit.
Yeah, I mean, I was really fascinated by the insight into the relationship between Hillary Clinton and her staff. It is quite obvious she surrounds herself with yes men and yes women that will never call her out on things that are illegal. One of the quotes is that we're just trying to avoid subpoenas. I actually think that's very dangerous for a leader who's going to become president. You have to make hard decisions, and if you're only surrounded by people who are just going to kiss your you-know-what and give it to you straight, that's a problem. The other thing is, like all Clinton scandals, she's only sorry when she's caught. Clintons are only sorry when they're caught. They're never sorry when they're doing something illegal and potentially, well, they did, in fact, sacrifice.
And when that group close to her tells her that she should be sorry, yes, and say something to the public. But that being said, what does this tell us, Guy, about who may be working for her in the White House if she is elected president? Cheryl Mills doesn't have a formal role in the Clinton campaign today, but these emails do reveal that she is intimately involved in the decisions being made for Hillary Clinton.
No, Cheryl Mills is at the center of every Hillary Clinton story.
She could have a prominent role in the Clinton
I bet you she will. Of course she will. She's been close and tight with Hillary Clinton for basically her entire career. Hillary Clinton trusts her implicitly, as she should. She's gone to bat for her over and over again. She was the recipient of some highly unusual immunity grants by the FBI during the investigation, where she played every role imaginable. She was a subject of the investigation. She was a witness in the investigation. She was given immunity in the investigation. She was Hillary's lawyer present in her questioning by the FBI.
Right.
This woman's at the center of it all, and they gave her a free pass.
Yep.
It's mystifying.
Well, and she was also, as I understand it, working with classification rights that perhaps she shouldn't have had at that point, as she was looking at this material that definitely had some C's on it.
Untouchable Cheryl Mills. But again, to Megan's point, I think this is really insightful. Who will Hillary Clinton surround herself with if she's president? Is she going to listen to the people who are emailing privately amongst themselves, this is crazy, this is a mistake, why didn't they get rid of this 18 months ago, which was sound advice? They didn't take it. She went with the secretive, not sorry advice from her closest people,
Well,
and I think she'll keep
the one
doing
thing
it.
I will say is the two people emailing apparently were John Podesta and Neera Tanden, neither of whom at the time, I believe, 18 months prior, were involved in the Hillary campaign. So as a result,
Right.
they're saying this because they were not there and not involved in this. Hopefully, she will have people like Neera Tanden, who's very capable and very good, involved in her administration, and as a result.
And they may talk more without email
Right.
moving forward.
I will say this, when I worked in the Senate, I worked alongside
an
Hillary Clinton as a
observation.
senator. She had an incredible staff that I think is really second to none. She picks good people around.
All right.
That is ridiculous.
She does not.
She does not keep good people around her.
She does.
That's just a total fallacy. Look what they helped get her into. As you said, there are people around her, whether they're friends of hers at the very least, saying, don't do this, don't do these things that are illegal. As I said, she surrounds herself with yes men and women.
Enablers.
Enablers.
Very competent people. I'll stand by that any day.
There's-
She had best Senate staff of anybody I've ever seen.
All right, well, more from those emails. One of those leaked email exchanges is raising big questions about whether President Obama actually knew about Hillary Clinton's private server, even though he claimed he did not and only learned about it from watching the news, in his words. Watch this clip from March 2015.
Did you know about Hillary Clinton's use of private email server?
No.
While she was Secretary of State?
No.
No, he said after that interview, Clinton aide Cheryl Mills apparently sent John Podesta an email saying, quote, "We need to clean this up. He has emails from her. They do not say state.gov. Yesterday, White House Press Secretary Josh Earnest stuck by the president's claim that he didn't know Clinton had a private server, saying, quote, "Most people I don't think assume they know the arrangements of a particular email system based on the email address. I recognize that some of the president's critics have attempted to construct some type of conspiracy about the communication between the president and the Secretary of State, but they've failed to put forward a conspiracy that withstands any scrutiny." But Donald Trump says the email from Mills is evidence the president knew much more than he lets on.
Obama, he had to know that Hillary was using an illegal server, but he claimed otherwise. So that means Obama is now into the act. And now I understand that despite his hatred of the Clintons, because I know one thing, Bill hates him, but despite his hatred, now I understand why he pushed her. Because he didn't want to get caught up in the big lie. He's caught up now, folks. We have to investigate the investigation.
Meghan McCain, how big is this?
I just want to know if Josh Earnest thinks that the American public are stupid enough to be gaslighted into thinking that somehow the president didn't know this was going on. Every single thing Hillary Clinton and her team touches gets infected. Obama is absolutely no different when it comes to this. I think this is going to blow up into a bigger scandal, and I don't understand why the media is not covering it.
I mean, Julie, those emails clearly state that the president was exchanging emails with her that did not have a government email address.
Yeah, my question is, if we saw those emails, whether those emails, the header in the email says Hillary Clinton, or whether it says whatever her email address was at Clinton dot whatever the server name was. Because if I get emails from Harris Faulkner, for example, right, it'll come up as Harris Faulkner, it won't come up as your email address. It'll come up just as your name. And the question for me is, what did it come up in his email?
Well, sometimes it does.
Not
if
when
we
it's a secure
back and
email.
forth, it might.
Mine
But
comes
when
up with you as just your name.
When
so,
new
yeah.
people email me, no, I get their address.
But he
Secured
was using
email
a
is a
pseudonym
full
himself
address
in
Right.
his
in
emails.
the header.
And so it didn't just auto-populate initially. At some point, he had to look at what her actual email address was, and it was at clintonemail.com,
I don't know
not
that.
at state.gov. And what's interesting, too, is some people said, well, maybe they were just talking about unofficial business, like pals trading kitten gifts or something. But
I doubt that.
I doubt it too, and so does Huma Abedin.
Right.
We learned from the FBI investigation notes, she was shown an email between the president and the Secretary of State, and she told the FBI, looking at the email, how is this not classified? She saw what was going on in those emails in an unsecure, non-government system.
The president was so definitive, though, in that response that you just saw there. No, he had no idea, he says, and that's all we can go by.
Well, and behind the scenes then, if they were looking at how they were going to fill in the gap between what he said he knew and what the reality was, I mean, that is a hot mess. That is the definition, I believe. So, I mean, I understand there are 13 days to go, and your party probably is hoping just to run out the clock.
Pretty much.
But this could follow her beyond this, because
Yeah.
now it is insidious
I think
in
it's
the background.
in fairness,
For
I think it
people.
is possible that the president didn't know the extent of the scheme and that it was a whole private server in a basement somewhere.
But even
I
if he
do
didn't
not-
know all that, what he did know is that her email didn't have a .gov.
I think that's right.
So
I
let's
think
talk
that's
political strategy, because Donald Trump is clearly trying to push this issue out on the trail.
It's a smart thing to go after. It's a huge weakness of hers. It shows how corrupt she is. It shows that she believes that she lives by a set of rules and standards that other politicians and other Americans do not. I would stay on this messaging and the message of what the huge disaster Obamacare is.
Yep.
Stay as far away from everything else as possible. Hit her hard, hit her in the jugular, and as long as he keeps doing that, I think he could make up some points.
Megan's waiting for the pivot that's going to happen any day now.
I'm not, but I think it's intellectually disingenuous to say that Hillary Clinton surrounds herself with the best staffers when we're using example after example after example about how her and her entire team. Let me tell you something. People that work for my father don't believe that we're all above the law. And clearly staffers that work for Hillary Clinton believe not only she, but her entire team are immune from living and working by the same set of laws and standards.
They've been vindicated in that belief, which is disgusting, but it's also a reality, right?
But it's also bringing up, what is she going to do if she becomes president? It's absolutely petrifying.
No, I just wonder if she's going to walk away from these people. Like, I mean, this is damaging to her.
She's not going to walk
How does she deal with this?
Listen, these are people that she's been with for 20 years. She's not walking away from them. They're not walking away from her.
It's a big story.
Know where all the bodies are buried.
Another shakeup in the 2016 race. A new poll shows Donald Trump pulling ahead of Hillary Clinton in a major battleground state as independents appear to be moving into Trump's camp. We will discuss that.